Hello and welcome to What's Map for Cities Skylines, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. There are thousands of items on the workshop now, so finding the right one for your next city build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review some using our 5-star rating and the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture out to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. BonBon here, how you doing? Right, it's Saturday, we have made it through the first full week of the new format show. I hope you like it. I hope you well, let me make the odd mistake. I know I've made one or two editing mistakes this week, but we're getting there. I'll have it all fixed by the end of 2019 probably. If you want to help me polish up the show, there is one thing you can do. If you like to polish away with your mouse button right now, that would be greatly appreciated. Right, about there, yep. That's right, accidentally hitting the like button really does help support me and the channel, gets me seen by more people every single day. I thank you so much. Now it's the quirky asset of the week. As we fly on over to Asset World, that's right, we have now ditched Assetville, and now all the assets go directly into Asset World. There'll be an Asset World tomorrow with another 6 assets from just over a year ago, all added. If you'd like to join me for that, you'd be very, very welcome indeed. Now, today's quirky asset is the monkey statue by Doc N. Well, I think quirky definitely describes this fellow. He's ever so cute, though. I quite like him. He's sat on his little plinth there, welcoming people to my little theme park area with the Star Trek and the Star Wars and the toaster. Yeah, the toaster. The monkey statue. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if we did a park with like 1,000 of those in the park? I might just have to do that. Be great. So anyway, monkey statue by Doc N, today's quirky asset of the week, which means it's about time to get on the plane and jet out to the island without an airport. That's right, little trip to Themington Island coming up. For the theme and LUT review, that's right, this week we are looking at Starburg by Ronix69 with the Satellite LUT, of course, by Creative Decks. I think this combination works really well. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Starburg, but I think actually I might be getting sold on it. Possibly a little bit. Okay, Factoids, because Factoids, and we're doing on men at the moment. Oh, look, interest in men possibly, I don't know. All About Men. Sounds like a promisingly racy movie, doesn't it? All About Men. It's a rather sedate English comedy released in 1954 starring Don Sinden, Dora Bryan and Irene Handel. Oh, they're great names from yesteryear. Archaeologists have discovered that Incan girls used to pluck their eyebrows, dye their hair, powder their faces, and carried all their beauty kits around them in special handbags. They were well ahead of their times, you know, those Incans. They really were. Okay, let's whiz back down to today's map, which is this one. It's not an island map. I know a lot of you don't like island maps. It's got to fill up the whole map. And we've got the fog switched off because reasons, which we'll get to. Okay, it's Shoshone Basin by Seawolf 77079. First of all, the Shoshone, one of my preferred civilizations to use within the game, civilization. There's your start square right there. Yes, and I nearly said Shoshone. Very nearly did it. Oops. What have we got there? We have got the resources. Resources look just like this. Okay, it seems, yeah, okay. And then off to the workshop. What do we need off the workshop? Well, there's a little bit of a list on the workshop and a nice little write-up as well, including a nod to a few creators and a little bit of help that was offered by friend of the show, Hendrik. Well done, Hendrik, for BonBonB proofing. BonBonB proofing, as they call it now. Trying to prevent me from finding mistakes in maps. BonBonB proofing the map. Yeah, we've got a number of things here. A lot of these are mods rather than the assets, which you're probably going to be using anyway and aren't actually essential. But we have got a number of different things going on down here. Notice the mention of the lighthouse, Hendrik's Lighthouse. Don't remember seeing it on the map. There's also a second theme, probably the old version of the theme. We won't be using that, but I've just clicked like subscribe onto that one. but I don't think it's essential. I could be wrong. I might be using the wrong theme. Okay. So it's Shoshone Basin, based on, I know, Indian land in America. I did read up on it, but I've forgotten it's gone. Going to be honest with you, the details are pretty reasonable on this map, and the aesthetic is, well, I think it's down to taste. I've got a feeling that it might not really fit for some of you. I don't know about... It's a desert theme being created by Seawolf, and it's okay. For me, it's a little bit... almost a little bit bland, I think. A little bit. And we've got our first elevated highway. You'll see quite a lot of elevated highways on today's map, but not throughout the entire map. And it's been reasonably well done. Down here, first intersection like this one. Join us up onto the highway network, and we're going to take the long route because honestly there's not a huge amount of feature areas on this particular map to distract us later. Now this first bridge, off-centre, which is fine. I don't mind it staggered like that. It looks okay. Question is, does it need to be a suspension bridge for a little pass like that? Probably not. Only over the railway while we're up there in the air. And now we'll cruise. Like I say, nice equidistance on the highways. I'm suspecting possible use of the parallel roads tool, possibly. And down here to our next bridge. Once again, does it A, need to be elevated? And B, does it need to be suspension? You've got suspension in that little section in the middle, and then we're elevated on either side, which seems a bit strange. We'll look more at that in a moment. Main intersection here, nice choice. It looks really nicely done as well. It's actually been worked into the environment rather than just plopped. And that way down there takes us straight down to Start Square. We are going to go the long way, of course. Why not? While we're here, we'll have a little look around, look-see around the rest of the map, shall we? Okay, still at ground level, and then we hit next intersection here, which takes us up in the air if we want to go that way. It's all good. All very nicely done. Now, all elevated here, okay? Please note, all elevated, nicely done, good level. But then the bridges are suspension bridges. Do they need to be? I mean, the highways are holding themselves up quite nicely without suspension. It just seems like an odd choice. Another one here. Once again, it's a perfect bridge, do not get me wrong. Absolutely perfect bridge. Just question the need for the suspension units. Just seems, mind you, it'd be a lot more. I mean, I think the map's a little bit bland. It'd be even more bland without the suspension. So maybe I'm just asking for both ends of the stick at once. So again, gone elevated. I guess it's elevated for a reason. It looks all right, actually. Tunnels are good. Tunnels are very nice. And nipping through here, popping out the other side, and yeah, that's all tidy. All clean and tidy and good. Nice and low elevation bridge there. Once again, nice and tidy. No grumbles with that. Up the side of the river. River looks a bit bland again. I don't know. It's possibly a little rock work here and there on the rivers would be nice. See now, this bridge isn't elevated and it works perfectly well. So I question the need for some of the elevation on those bridges. Next intersection looks like that. That's fine and tidy. And then we'll nip down this way, nip towards all the interesting stuff, shall we? Down here, proper busy intersection like this a lot. Good choice. Good heights on the overpasses and the underpasses. No clipping. And then we got this. We got obviously double and single suspension alongside each other. I mean, it's symmetrical. I give you that. Just looks a bit weird. And a bit odd and a bit strange. Nothing wrong with it, technically speaking. It's probably an aesthetic choice. We've got loads and loads of possible start locations around the map which are dotted, which I haven't particularly looked at. Like one over this bridge again. This bridge, not suspension. And there, elevated, gets you started in that zone if you like to. There's plenty of that going on, which is all good for gameplay. Now we come down here towards, this is the last intersection before we hit the start square. I'm not going to hover on this one, you can basically make that one out quite nicely. And here's your start square intersection, which start square I think was a little bit like that-ish. It's all very, very flat land as well for building, which is also good. And also elevated so that you can get your roads under the highway and connect up different sides. If you have a look over here, we've got the road going under the highway there. It's definitely high enough. It looks a bit low, but it actually I think it's fine. Okay, it's fine. We'll let that one go. Onto the rail. It's a very flat map, so we shouldn't really have any problems unless we decide to go across these hills. And I don't think Seawolf is going to do that to us. I'm pretty sure he isn't. Trees get a bit close there to the rail, but there's no clipping or anything. That's all good. That's fine. Now, not much to talk about, honestly, with the rail. It's flat, it's straight. We've got all the elevated highway sections, which means that we can just build the rail and ignore everything. And then we've got perfect bridges nipping across there. We're not going to follow every stretch of rail just because, if anything, we've got a little bit of a slope going on there. I think it's within context of the game. I think we can let that go. It's not so steep. Probably beyond realism, but it's not so steep. It's fine. It's fine. Nobody loses points for that. Nipping across all this winding river. I like the way that the rail cuts across it. That adds a nice interest to the map, if I'm honest with you. And then across here, we have got round intersection there with some interesting slopes, but not too bad. Again, we're going to let that one go. A little bit of resources going on underneath our feet at the moment. Not sure exactly what they are, but they're clearly there. And then across this little stretch of a river here. Now, it does say in the description that this map is suited for ferries, but I think some of these bridges are a bit low with regards to ferries. You probably want to rebuild them if you want to go ferry routes like here as well. Quite low. So yes, the rail's all pretty good. It is kind of blocking ferry routes. That's my only grumble, really, with those. And back to that centre location again, which means it's about time for an intermission.
Do your bridges look like the game's AI has gone on holiday? Would you like vanilla bridges to be proud of? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Perfect Bridges by BonBonB. Click the information button below.
And we're back to Shoshone Basin by Seawolf 77079. There are no shipping routes. Of course, as I've just mentioned, there is a suggestion that we can use ferries, which is fine. Let's have a look at, well, it's not fine because of the bridges. What am I talking about? Water flow. We have water flow running through the map, and actually, I was a little bit surprised. I wasn't sure that this was going to work. We're now going upstream, by the way. In towards the middle of the map, you've got this lake with the islands on it, which I don't feature enough in this particular episode, but we've got a lake with nice foliaged islands. Oh, foliaged is a word, apparently. And then the river, which flows up and through and off and out. The water flows across the map. I didn't think that it would. I thought it was going to emanate from the centre and push outwards, but I was wrong. I don't mind saying it. Right, let's have a little look at the terrain. What's the button for the terrain? Oh, come on, BonBonB. Diddle-it. It's been a long time since I used the terrain button. No, that's leisure. Heating. That's the one. Terrain heights. Boom. I know what I'm doing. I really do. It's been such a long time since I've used this button. Not used it in the show. But I figured that this was a kind of map that I think we wanted to have a little look at it. And it's not super flat, but it's pretty flat. And that is really good for a city builder. We do like a nice big flat land in the middle of the map to build things on. But also just enough to force us to maybe break away from the grid every now and then, which is good. So anyway, we've got some interesting detailing on this map. I forgot to look at the islands in the middle of the map. But like for a start, this start square roundabout with the crossroads in it could cause some traffic chaos. Possibly. Mind you, I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of traffic coming through there, so I'm going to let it go. Get her on the side of discretion there. Now, we've got some interesting detailing on these this waterfall rapids kind of thing. I quite like them, but the question is, where's the rest of the foliage? Where? How have we only got a little bit of foliage in the middle of the river there? There's absolutely nothing else anywhere around. It's kind of like a little nod to foliage. But there should be something somewhere, surely. But there isn't. So, yeah, I just find that a little bit strange. It was good detailing, just not enough of it. Nice tree detailing, and while we're speaking of tree detailing, I'm going to be honest, like the tree mix in the forests. Once again, there's not too many of them, and I kind of like, I get that we don't want to have to demolish loads. Oh, the colours I think work really well. I'm not so sure about the colour of the sand. The sand's a bit creamy. I know it's realistic, but I'm not sold. I think the blues and the creams work very nicely. Aesthetically, it's got an interesting aesthetic look. Anyway, shall we take a little vote on this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count because we use it towards the end of the month in the Viewers' Choice Top 10 Awards for the month. Is this going to be a Top 10 map for the month? It could be. It's got potential, you know. And I think a few of you might like it. So anyway, aesthetically, I think it's a bit bland. Just a little bit bland. Like I say, I like the blue and cream combinations. I think the greens work really well together, but it just doesn't jump off the page. So other than the colour format, I can only really give it 3 stars. Detailing across the whole is good. I think it could do with quite a chunk more in certain areas. I'd like to see a little bit of rock work in the rivers. That would work really nicely as well. But what there is good. I'm going to give it a low 4. It's probably deserving of a 4, but not a high 4. Low 4 for detail. Gameplay potential, plenty of potential with this map. There's nothing to hold you back. You can build a big city. It just doesn't entice me to want to play it. So based on that, I'm going to give it 4 stars for gameplay. It's definitely worth 4 stars. As Shoshone Basin by Seawolf 77079. Very nice map. Just not really. It doesn't sell itself to me, and that's my big problem with that particular map. Just doesn't go the first mile, let alone the extra mile, you know. So anyway, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. Join me tomorrow for the Steam Weekly Chart Show, and of course for a little trip to Asset World, where we're popping 6 more assets into the city and flesh it out a little bit more. There's an old map on screen for you to vote on if you want to go and have a little watch of that, and I will see you again on Monday for more What's Map if that's what you desire. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon.